Hey there, Future Kevin here. I just wanted to give a shout out here. We noted at the beginning of this episode that it was going to be about Blitz Bowl, and then we ended up yammering on, as we do, and couldn't stay on topic enough. All three of us just went on some crazy tangents, and we didn't get to Blitz Bowl in time to keep the episode under probably 2.5 hours. So we're going to cut this as a tableside news and hobby update progress, since we actually hadn't recorded in almost 2 weeks. And what you'll be hearing ahead of this is not actually a Blitz Bowl episode. It is a news and hobby progress status update from 3 Men in a War Game. And we will have a Blitz Bowl episode out for you shortly.
Welcome to another episode of 3 Men and a War Game. I'm Paul, and it's been 3 years of this. Wow.
I'm Kevin, and I love you guys, man. 3 years. Holy shit.
And this is Potter, and I can't believe I've talked to you guys for 3 years.
I know. What the hell?
Oh my god, 3 years. That's insane. That's insane.
I know. I thought about it the other day, and I was like, wow. I've not done anything consistently for 3 years.
I mean, hopefully a job. Your job you've been at for that long.
I guess. Actually, 3 years was about my cutoff point until my most recent job, actually. I was usually topping around 3 years.
I suppose I was 3 to 5 too. Anyway, guys.
Yeah. Way to be adults.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
3 years. Man, so cool.
And the thing is, I look back to a lot of our episodes, and there's still like dozens of topics that I want to cover that we haven't even started approaching yet.
Like Malifaux?
Yeah, like Malifaux 3rd edition. There's a criminal miss by us, by the way. The fact that we haven't, since we recorded on these new mics. Part of what I was waiting for was, so that we could be comfortable enough in Malifaux 3rd edition that I could record with you guys a definitive primer on the game in our format. And since we got the mics and got everything up and running at a, really nice level, we haven't been able to play any Malifaux. So my brain hasn't been fresh in the game.
Yeah.
We'll have to come up with some other way to address all that. But anyway, there's probably other really cool things happening too that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Before the top topic of the show is going to be Blitz Bowl, aka Arena Football in the Old World. So you probably know by the episode description, but I just want to make sure we get that off the top, that is going to be the topic of the night.
Yes.
But first,
so I guess
hobby progress.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Yeah, why don't you go first,
Cool.
Kev?
I've been working on the New York terrain for Marvel Crisis Protocol. So that is the stoplights, the park lights, the cars, the trash cans, the buildings, all that stuff, as well as a custom statue that I made from a Disney Infinity miniature and an orange juice cap. So that I could have my roundabout board finished off for when we start actually being able to play in public again, hopefully.
Oh, is that going to be like the statue in the middle of the roundabout?
It is, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get some pictures of it all painted. I've been highly motivated to finish it the last couple of weeks. So
it's amazing, except for what the statue is of.
I would have got.
I missed it. What's it a statue of? Captain America?
Yes. Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely Cap.
Awesome.
I really love the Disney Infinity Captain America pose. It's so cool.
All the Disney Infinity poses for all their characters were great.
Yeah,
I missed that game.
I almost did the Ant-Man one, but that doesn't really make sense. Like, why would there be a statue of Ant-Man in the middle of New York, right?
You should have gone with Iron Man. It's more symbolic.
No,
I couldn't get
it.
I couldn't get the Iron Man statue, and Cap to me is the more the figure that people would be more likely to make a statue of.
Yep.
See, Iron Man's Manhattan.
Nope.
He's
like a vulture.
Captain America is Brooklyn. Who cares about Brooklyn? It's full of hipsters. No one cares.
Anyway, it's
now you're pissing me off. You're gonna be silenced for the whole episode.
I'm all right with that.
But I also I painted my Killmonger alternate model that I got, one of the very first non-official models I bought in this whole time I've been in this hobby. Usually I don't buy 3D printed stuff or things that are not, officially sanctioned but I really love the model. Love that it's in the pose on the artwork for the thing. So I bought that and I painted that. And also I've been painting Blood Bowl players.
Blood Bowl players.
Yeah.
Blitz Bowl, Blood Bowl, all the same?
Both bowl. Both bowl players.
Okay.
And you guys know, or that, I'm from California originally. Currently, I would say originally I'm not. Now I tell people I'm from Wisconsin because I've been here long enough. But I grew up, first 19 years of my life in California, and I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Raider fan, and as such, I've been painting the human team up like the Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry, and having a really good time with it.
Rip.
I always forget that they're in Vegas now.
Yeah, I just did in real time.
Yeah, well, I also don't pay attention to.
I was like, I honestly didn't even know
much.
that they were in Vegas. Now I hadn't realized they moved.
Yep.
I don't watch football.
Paul, what have you been up to?
Oh, I finished putting together my Mandalorians for Legion. I put together Padme Amidala for Legion. I primed Cassian and K2 because I'm trying to get out of this inexplicable need to paint stuff in order that it released for Legion. I don't know why that is, so I'm trying to break myself out of it by saying I'm going to paint all the Rogue One themed stuff. Cool. And possibly the Mandalorian stuff, because that's also really neat too. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, because this overwhelming need to do it by wave is just killing me. And then that's I also primed the Carnivale stuff.
Hey,
Woo!
Not only that, but the fact that it's been. The other deep shame of the show is that we haven't covered Carnivale, despite one of us having owned it painted for almost a year now.
Yeah, well, hashtag thanks coronavirus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's primed and that's ready for some contrast, because I'm going to do those in contrast. So, those should be done pretty soon. But I haven't really finished much of anything, I don't think. Because I think the last time we talked, I had finished my Legion 1.4 FD laser cannon for the Rebels.
Right.
And I think that's the last thing I fully finished. So I think we're going to switch back to some Infinity, and I have some Infinity stuff that's in progress and needs to get done, but I haven't actually put the brush to it in a while. So I'm just waiting for Thanksgiving to end. But I am putting together a Sphinx right now, so that's a thing.
That's sweet. What a cool model. Oh yeah, Infinity tags. What a cool thing, man. New tags.
Oh yeah, all the new tags are great.
All four of them are just gorgeous.
Yeah,
too.
they're great.
Can we say that? Like, they're all just absolutely gorgeous. And I know the Blue Wolf sculpt just wins it right off the bat because it is so awesome.
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, trust me, I love that Blue Wolf, but the Zeta sculpt,
I'm pretty partial to the Zeta. Yeah, I'm pretty partial to the Zeta.
I don't even play O12, but there's something about the Zeta. The Zeta sculpt is just fantastic. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it again, because I felt it was kind of average when I first looked at it, but maybe there's like cool details or something.
I don't know. They just nailed the aesthetic with that model. I really like it.
I agree. And again,
it does have that pose of like, yeah, I'm a giant walking bunker. Deal with me.
Giant walking bunker, little tiny head. It's so cool. I love that model, man. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, see, and the Sphinx is just Neon Genesis enough, but not like so overtly Neon Genesis.
I hate you for saying that, because now I want to buy, because I could buy a Sphinx and paint it like Unit 2, the colors of Unit 2, and it would blend in. It would be fine in my Shazvasti army.
And now you absolutely need to do that. I demand it, so you need to do it.
As only if when we play I get to like talk like well, never mind. That would be extremely obnoxious.
Dude, if you're gonna say that you wanted to just cut like role play Asuka the whole time,
that is what I was going to say. As I was going to be a dick like Asuka the entire time.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Like, you're gonna put that model where?
oh Lord.
Chris, what have you been up to?
X-Men. I picked up all of the X-Men. I got everything except for Storm Prime, because she's a one-armed Herdazian. I lost her arm to the floor, and I have not been able to find it. So she's walking around with one arm right now. Any Stormlight fans will get my reference. But I got all of them built, all of them primed. Sandstorm. Wolverines got paint on them. Started painting Cyclops up today. So hopefully I will be playing Craig from Third Floor Wars later on at the end of Christmas time before the new year, hopefully. Neat. So trying to get all these guys, get some paint on them, at least get base coats on them, so that way there's some paint on them. They may not be up to my standard, but at least they've got paint on them.
See, I was just going to ask you if you were going to continue with that philosophy of getting the base colors on, just so this way it's kind of somewhere, and then you could work on it at your leisure.
I think for things that are larger scale games, kind of like Infinity, and Infinity's really not even that large scale, but Legion, I think I'm going to try to. MCP, because of the fact that everything's so individualistic, I'm going to try and paint up a full model because I'm not painting several at the same exact time. But that's my hope. I don't know. But most likely probably it will play out that I'm just going to try at least get the base coats done so I can get more models with paint on them on the table.
Cool.
Yeah, man. I'm still thrilled about that philosophy because it's pretty badass. It's pretty cool. It's a good way to be able to have something painted, feel good about it, and feel like you still have that opportunity to meet your personal requirements.
Yeah. So hopefully it plays out. I got my cutter, tag November. So I got my cutter, my Pacific Rim robot. And then I ended up actually picking up a Yodam secondhand on the cheap. So I got a couple of parts I got to put back on that. But that's been my hobby progress.
Very cool.
Nice.
Well, I guess then let's go through some rapid fire news because it's been a pretty busy news time, I guess, in the miniatures world.
November's been busy.
Yeah, it has been very busy. So we'll kick it off with the ITS packet launching. New ITS season, as we are all now budding Infinity players, is pretty exciting.
Yeah, exactly. What Kevin didn't say is that we're talking about Infinity right now.
Yeah, Infinity. The Infinity Tournament System packet, or ITS packet, which is a competitive guidelines and mission pack, basically. Mm-hmm. And Paul,
it's your tourney pack.
Yeah, tourney pack. And Paul, one of the things that you noted, I haven't read the ITS pack. I'm irresponsible this show, and then I haven't read it. But you had noted that it seems like most of the missions are basically tailored so that you can play them in Code 1.
It's pretty straightforward.
Like an easy conversion to Code 1, I should say.
Yeah, and like I said, I haven't gone into it in depth, but I haven't seen anything that makes me go, oh, well, with this happening in there, there's no way you could play this in Code 1.
Right.
Which is great. It does feature the classified deck, the standard classified deck.
Well, I've been playing Code 1 with classifieds already, and it's fine.
Yeah. But there is also a mini errata in there for things that no longer exist, like the coup de grace and just a few rules that may have been removed between the difference between N3 and N4. So it addresses that, which is nice. But like just going through them, I really don't see anything that would make you go, you couldn't play this in Code 1. Because one of the other things they did is I think they kind of realized that people might be playing games at home. Mm-hmm. Even if it's like a league, if it's like a friendly local league, you might be playing at your house and might not have a whole lot of room and stuff like that. So there are different point sizes listed, which I don't know that ITS had before. So it's got everything from 150 points up to 400.
Neat.
Oh, very cool.
And so it gives you your points, your SWC for that size game, your table size, and your deployment. Which is great, but with the conversion to Code 1, just knock off the singles digit, and that's your 15, 20, 25, 30, or 40,
right?
And you're good to roll. So and like I said, if there is anything, I can't imagine it would be all that hard to adjust. It does bring in HVTs, but all that is in here and tells you how to use it.
Yeah, and
so,
I feel like HVTs are also fine for Code One. You can.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's just targets you're going up to, protect or claim. So yeah, It should be very simple to translate into Code One very easily.
Like I said, I don't think that there is anything that I saw in my. Granted, I haven't been through every mission with a fine tooth comb to look and see, but I'm pretty sure everything can just be played. Okay, so maybe there's one with some 0G, because I guess the theme is that it's on a space station.
Yeah,
so that would be hard.
Yeah, that one you wouldn't be able to do.
So that you can just leave off. Yeah, I mean, but I think that's
okay. One out of how many though?
I'm not sure how many have 0G, but realistically, I don't know if it tells you what 0G is. I feel like you could probably do it, but.
But again, you can just leave it off, so that's still cool.
Yeah,
right. You just
exactly.
Ignore that part.
So, I think it's pretty straightforward. So,
all right,
that's good.
Moving on from ITS, a lot of Games Workshop stuff. They've done a couple previews. Unfortunately, I think an almost range wide price hike. No, I guess not everything, but almost range wide. Everything went up like 10 to 15%.
Do a price hike.
They do that yearly, Chris.
Well, I know, but it feels like they just did it like a couple of months ago.
Right.
That's because we're in 2020 and it's a year of COVID, and I guess we basically went from November to November.
Yep.
I guess that's true.
Jeez. That's exactly
it. Really did feel like it was just a few months ago that they did this.
Yep.
Barf.
But also, we got new battle boxes, which, and I think actually I would commend GW on these new Battle Force boxes for both AOS and 40K, and that they are more playable than the previous ones have been. The last few years of them have always felt like they were just extra sprues that they were trying to get rid of, and just they threw a smorgasbord into a box and was like, here's a bunch of shit for a discounted price. And this time you get targeted forces and still the discounted prices. So that's pretty cool.
Which is good.
Yeah, and they look to be about the same price as they were in years past. So there actually isn't a price hike on these at all.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at some of the Age of Sigmar ones, and there are definitely some nice looking ones.
The ogre one is
that's the one I was really looking at, was the ogre one.
It's a deal. If you consider GW prices, it's a deal, right?
Right.
And also the fact that box is like 1,500 points. Like, you buy that box like $200. It's basically 75% of an army. That's not bad, all things considered, for GW games. When I was looking at how much it would cost to build a Gene Stealer cult army, I don't even want to talk about the shopping cart. Yeah, but also Blood Bowl, the second season, is launching in a week from as of recording. So that's pretty neat. And they've got the new Warcry Catacombs box out, as well as new start collecting boxes for 40K, which are now called Combat Patrol boxes. And much like those Battle Forces, they are, rather than just being models stuffed together in a box at a lower price point, the price point's a little higher, but the total value MSRP of the box is higher, and they are at targeted point values. They specifically, I think, are 500 points in the boxes at least. So that's still, I think for me, one of my main complaints about GW has been that it makes almost no sense, your avenues into the game. And these seem to be more sensical ways for new players to come in. So I'll give him a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at the Deathwatch one at 140, and that just hurts. Right,
but it's $230 MSRP, that box, something like that.
Yeah, but the thing is it's $140 for only a combat patrol, not even a full army.
That's right. It's like 500 points. Yep. Yeah. I'm not saying it's cheap, fellas. I'm just saying,
I know.
It makes more sense, I think, than previous releases have.
I mean, for them, it is cheap for them. And I will give it to that. Like, looking at it from their economic standpoint, their scale, their pricing, like, that is a steal for them. And I'll at least give them that.
I'm looking at it from a purely player logistics point. Like, they're actually giving people good ramps into decent armies at those, because before there weren't, like, some of those start collecting boxes, like for the Age of Sigmar, for example, the Flesh Eater Courts box was great because the player could just repeat buy them over and over again and make a pretty good list out of them. But not all of them were like that. So they were like really inconsistent about what you got for army composition out of them. And these ones are much better as a, like, buy this first, and it gives you your taste of that army. Price not factored in.
So can I do this now? The Necron stuff that's come out recently. Oh my God, the prices are ridiculous.
They're very high. Yeah, the prices
like
are very high.
Not even like, oh my God, I can't believe GW charges so much, but oh my God, I can't believe that anybody is charging that much.
Yeah, buying like a monolith, are they like a 170?
They're $170 damn dollars.
Yeah, they're a lot.
Those are.
And what was really fascinating, since I play Necrons and am on the Necron Facebook group, was the amount of people doing ridiculous mental gymnastics to justify it.
Same with the Gargants. The Gargants are like $2 for a model.
But it's it's a better sculpt. It's a more detailed sculpt, but it's the same frickin' size as the old one. And I saw some people going, "Well, it's bigger. You just have to put it on its flying base."
That's just sad.
Once you put it on the flying base, it'll be bigger. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
No, I mean, yes, it got taller vertically, but it didn't get bigger, wider.
But yeah, I appreciate the fact that it's a nicer sculpt, and it's
it's a damn fine sculpt.
But it's not $170 sculpt. I mean, the Tesseract Vault was $160.
Yeah, and that thing's huge.
And that thing's huge and counts as a super heavy and blah, blah, blah. Technically, if you build it a different way, it's 2 models. Because you can use a little Catan inside as a Catan. And So, I mean, it's just... And then Warriors went up to $45 a box, right, for 10 of them. And you need, granted, I'm not...
2 anvils.
So I'm not... Yeah, exactly. So, like, I mean, generally with Warriors, you want 40 of them, or at least, full units. So, I mean, you're looking at $180 right there to field 2 full units of Necron Warriors.
It's hard. I'm not saying that the price hike is great, but that, I don't want to shit on GW too much.
I am though. Like, I'm just like, it just looks at me like I just look at it now and it's just like, oh my God, this is so much. And
I've said it in Discord that they've pretty much discluded me from their main games at this point.
Yeah, I could like, even if I wanted to, I couldn't justify that. Like, I have a hard time at this, and I've said this before in the show, I have a hard time at this point in my life saying, okay, here's more than $50 to throw down on something.
Yeah.
Like, that's just kind of tough for me. Like, and it's not like I can't afford it. Like, I'm probably more likely to be able to afford it now than ever before in my life. But I don't wanna.
Yeah, right. and I'm not gonna hold that against you. I think that if I'm gonna play in the GW sandbox anymore, it's certainly never going to be 40K or AOS at this point.
I mean, even if it is, like, at least from my standpoint, I'm not buying it new. I'm buying it secondhand.
Yeah, and you're probably doing the thing I did and buying an army like Custodians, right, where you can call it done at $300.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was looking at, like, because I love Age of Sigmar's game system. I think it's one of the best fantasy mass battle.
It's a fun game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I've always enjoyed myself when I have played Sigmar. And that's why that Ogre army enticed me, because I was like, I still remember when I worked for GW when Ogre Kingdoms came out. $300 I bought the army box and it gave me a full 2,000 point army. $300, boom, I laid it down instantly. And I was like, they're cool models. The lore is cool for them. I absolutely love them. So it was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe. But then it was just, again, $195, and I'm at least for ogres on their price scale. You're right; it does make sense because that is an expensive army to buy because they're huge models. Ogres are big, but I'm with Paul. Like it's getting to the point where it's like, if anything's above 50, if it's above the price of a video game, I'm not sure I want it anymore.
It's hard. I agree. It's tough. And it's not a starter box, right? It's hard.
And that goes for every game system out there because I have my qualms about some of the pricing for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like I still think that most of their boxes are $5 to $10 too expensive.
That's fair. But like, and this is for the sake of the show. Let's move on.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, because we've been talking about GW for almost 15 minutes. And we're not even at the main topic. That's so. The other things
we could just keep going on that and make that the show.
No. There's a new Malifaux faction book. So the 8th Malifaux faction, the book is due out this week.
Wait. I'm sorry. Kevin, we got to do this. We got to take one step back, go back to GW for a moment.
Okay.
Treebeard.
Oh my God. Best
that
model.
Model's beautiful.
Best model. So good. Oh my God,
it's beautiful.
Great. It's my favorite GW model since the Necron dude that's like peeling the skin off the guy.
and this model is coming out right when I'm hitting like I just watched Fellowship of the Rings the other day, and like so it's like I'm on a loader kick, and this model is like, hey, come by me.
Yeah, that Treebeard model. That Treebeard model has me looking at the Pelennor Fields box like, it's great.
We may talk about that later because Lord of the Rings is one of those games I've always wanted to try since they've done the changes to it.
And I actually have there's a strong play community in my area, so I would just try and get a demo of it. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. But moving on, Malifaux faction book, 8th faction, Explorer Society. The book is launching this week. This is the first time it's happened in a long time. The last introduction to Malifaux was the 10 Thunders, and that was before I started playing Malifaux. So very, very cool. Bunch of new masters, at least a few of which we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Very exciting news. I mean, we knew it was coming for months, right? But we're on the precipice now, so it's even more exciting than ever. And I'm almost sure that we'll talk about it either from a lore or a master perspective, maybe before we record an M3E episode proper, because I'm so excited. I mean, I have the book pre-ordered. I'm so excited.
Any faction with a dinosaur in it, I'm sold.
Yeah, man. The Apex faction, and that looks like a cool thing, man. The Lord Cooper whole Apex crew looks great. Moving forward from that, though, Deadpool. AMG. They showed the next wave for quarter 2. And they showed some stuff in between, like what quarter 1's going to look like, right? With
She-Hulk and
right. Oh. And the Inhumans.
And the Humans, there you go. I couldn't remember.
But then in quarter 2, we get our next batch of mutants in the form of like Mr. Sinister, Cable and Domino, Deadpool. Like it's just
Chef Bob.
Yeah, Chef Bob with Deadpool.
Cannot forget Chef Bob.
Oh, it's so good.
And those sculpts are beautiful. Like that Cable's, I mean, the Deadpool, they nailed it. Perfection. The way that it's sculpted, the way it looks. But that Cable model is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's great.
Just absolute gorgeous.
I can't wait for and also the fact that you get the truck, and yes. I'm going to be magnetizing the whoop for sure.
Yeah, that is a cheap kit for what you're getting in it. In all honesty, like I think it's going to be what $60 maybe. Probably. I think people are guessing. You know, you get Deadpool, Chef Bob, and you get the Chimichanga truck for $60 potentially. Like perfect, you know. And then we also got Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in that
that line too. Yeah, yep. And that Scarlet Witch model too.
Beautiful.
Chef's kiss, beautiful, perfect, so good.
I mean, the Pietro model is very good as well too. It's just, you know, it's Pietro, so like they did what they could with it, I think, but it's still a good model. It's just the other ones, the Sinister model is perfect too.
Yeah, like Sinister model is my favorite of the batch. Yeah. For even more than Deadpool. I love that Mr. Sinister. I cannot wait to get it.
I mean, just the way that they represented Cable's powers on his model was just great to me.
Very cool. Yeah, the whole wave is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then the last.
So let me ask you.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me ask you something. This is like the first time I've watched this video. But like the Deadpool model,
Yes.
like the head isn't put on well. Like there's a giant gap.
Well,
is that like meant to be like, oh hey, it's a mini or?
No, if you watch it, so he comes with four different heads. So they were just there was one model painted, and they were just interposing the heads, because if you look at it, his eyes change.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah,
because it's Deadpool.
Like you can get the hard eyes on it, and then there's the other expressions, and you can magnetize all the heads to fit in.
Right.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like a little like, hey, look,
it
it's
might
funny
be though. If you think about it,
and we're playing it like a mini.
It's easy to justify it that way because all he does is break the fourth wall, right? So it's kind of funny that he has seams on his head, and you can pull the heads off and put other ones on.
That's what I'm saying. Like that makes him stand out from everybody else because he's like a miniature that's obviously put together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it stands out so much. So that's a really nice touch. But
that's I mean, if that's what they did,
I think it is a nice touch. And again, for me, it's the being able to like magnetize the whoop, the pose of the pose of him dancing on the rocket. Like the whole thing is just, it's so good.
Yeah, they nailed it. They nailed that whole line. It's just great.
All right, and then the last thing regarding this, we can also talk about AMG, and that is that the FFG models department, miniatures game department, basically appears to have been shuttered. So since Rune Wars is gone, and now all of the Star Wars stuff has been moved over to Atomic Mass.
Yep. X-Wing, Armada, Legion, all of it's... I mean, it's going to be interesting.
It might be worth a whole episode at some point. I think the thing that upsets me about it is that they let Alex Davey go.
Right.
I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about that, other than bad. I don't know what it means for the future of the game. But I know that under the AMG's stewardship, Crisis Protocol is one of my favorite miniatures games that's ever been released. So I'm hopeful for the future of the games.
Yeah, I was hoping that they would bring the entire design team over from FFG over,
at
so
least
that way,
the lead creatives,
right? So we'll see. I mean, I have a lot of faith in Will Pagani and his crew over there at AMG. So hopefully they keep with the spirit of the game. They've taken what Alex has, and I speak for Legion since it's mostly my game that I play out their line. But take what they've built and just continue on what he built, and don't change it. Please don't. Like, the game is good the way it is, and like. Let's go from there.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is that what I hope out of that change is that they lose Fantasy Flight's shyness about making changes for the betterment of the game, and not fully committing to them, and that since now it's a miniatures game and they know that miniatures players are okay with that they will be okay that when they make a change, that they will make a change. Like, they just put out some of these points adjustments and stuff like that. And let me tell you, 50 points, I'm still not bringing commandos, a full unit of commandos. I don't care. I can, for 10 points less, I can get more out of a unit of rebel troopers. Like, they need it's not the points that's the problem, it's what they do. They don't do enough to differentiate themselves. Right, exactly. So unless they're like a 20-point, 30-point model or a unit, then we can talk, but it's what they do, and they're not willing to make changes to what things do. And not willing to be like, hey, we changed points, so here's a card with the points change, or here's a PDF with the card with the points change. So I'm hoping that type of stuff gets fixed and that they are willing to commit, because they're now a miniatures company and not a board game company, and they're willing to make those changes.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that FFG wasn't keen on making large scale changes to units and their abilities. I mean, they did some tweaks here and there on what things could do, and mostly it was through erratas, like fixing things like Boba Fett's bounty when he first came out.
But the thing is, like, it's all stuff that you could fix in the rules errata, like in the rules reference, right. So, which is fine, which is easy, but very unwilling to add rules to make things better. Instead of adding rules to make things better, you drop the points.
Right.
And that's not always the problem.
Yeah. So there's that. Get us back on topic, Kev.
All right, and one other news story, Steam Forged right now $700,000 on Kickstarter for a new board game miniatures dungeon crawler called Bard Sung. Paul, I know you've got some strong opinions about Steam Forged. Do you have anything you want to go over here? Is this worth talking about?
I mean, yeah, it's probably worth talking about, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I was being the asshole and kind of wanted it to flop.
Unfortunately for you, it did not flop.
Yeah, I was like, it was pretty successful.
For sure, though, YTA on that one. You the asshole, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm totally calling myself out for that because I hate when people are like, yeah, I want Solo to do bad because it's not what I like. Right? Like, I'll call those people out night and day. So, I mean, I'm totally going to call it's me being personal and vendetta-ish on it. And, I mean, good for them that it went well. But, I mean, I'm not giving it a second look. I don't even know that I gave it a first look, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I'm going to let you handle this, and I'm going to sulk that I was wrong.
I mean, I don't know that you were wrong. I don't think so. They've shown a lot of stuff for the game. But the problem is that they've hinted at there being like 800 some odd cards in the game, which go to room reveal tiles, the heroes, the hero abilities, the AI controls, all this stuff. And they've probably only showed 5 to 10% of that card volume in their demos, which leads me to wonder how much of those mechanics are actually laid out. And a lot of the dungeon crawler as it stands now looks like you're doing a lot of like move, attack, move, attack, move. Like it just seems like an on rails experience, despite all of the ways that they're touting that it won't be. But it does have some gorgeous minis, some Russ Charles sculpted amazing miniatures, and the concepts are great.
No, is this one's going to be like a dungeon crawler, like something like a Descent?
Yeah, but the main hook of this is that, with Descent or Imperial Assault or really any other dungeon crawler, Gloomhaven, you name it, the first, half hour of your game is setting up. You're looking for the room tiles, you're finding all the monsters, you're getting the abilities together.
Right.
You're doing all this setup stuff. And the thing about Bard Sung is that it's almost like a procedurally generated dungeon. So you have this map, and the scenario dictates what side of the board you start on and what side of the board you have to exit on. And then you draw a card from a tile, and you're either drawing a hallway or a room tile. And then you're connecting that as you can to the rooms that have come out previously, making your way to the exit. So
it's a little bit more like, I think it was Mansions of Madness like that, where, no, not Mansions of Madness. The Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawler, where you get the pile of tiles and it's randomly as you come out until
exactly.
I was gonna say, like, I think Silver Tower that GW does is very much like that as well too.
But so the dungeon puts itself, Silver Tower definitely does, because that's part of the MacGuffin of that game, is that that tower is constantly rearranging itself. But it's similar to that in that it's got that like quote unquote roguelike feel, and then also the characters have meaningful progression. That's the other thing. And then there's a fail forward mechanic and a strong narrative where they've actually brought a lot of fantasy authors and big people in this sort of like choose your own adventure world, like Ian Livingstone, to write the material. And I think, that along with knowing Sherwin, having Russ Charles sculpts and having this be a game that was mostly, I think, done by Sherwin and Matt Hart. So there's a lot of positives. I'm just hoping that the product actually fleshes itself out the way that they say it will. Because I've seen a lot of people say they played the demo and they were like, that's cool, I don't ever have to play that game again. And that doesn't sound good for a game that has a 50-hour campaign.
That's not good.
Now that being said, I'm pretty excited. And again, the games that like DC and Matt and stuff have been part of before, thinking specifically, your Guild Balls, your God Tiers, the games that aren't IP related already, they've done a really good job. So I'm hoping that the game actually does all the things that it says it will, and it does have meaningful player choices, because those branching abilities and ways that you can actually customize your character do make for meaningful interactions while you're playing the game. And I really, really hope that is the way that the game goes, because I mean, the other thing that's really great about this game is the representation. Like the male to female ratio of heroes is great. Like as a parent of a young 9-year-old daughter, who will be 11 by the time this game comes out, it's really exciting to see a game coming where the 2 or 3 of the main heroes she could identify with, like that's really encouraging. And it's doing a lot of things 100% correct. So I just really hope they deliver on the promise.
And I mean, and that's something that they've always been really good at, right? Is having wide representation.
Oh yeah. Guild Ball was fantastic with that. Yeah.
So I mean, I can't fault them for that. I don't know. I just look at it and I don't, and maybe it's just me. I don't look at it and go, ooh. I look at it and go, okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been wanting a good dungeon crawler for a long time. I have at this point pledged, but am considering dumping down to just £1, the minimum, just to throw them a tip. Because I feel I was really hoping that through the reveal of the rule book and showing some more cards as we all went along, I would gain more confidence in the game. And they just haven't done that yet.
So, Kev, for people at home, if they want to back this, when's it end?
It'll be over by the time this airs.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you will have already missed it. And I'm certain it's going to make over $1 million because...
Yeah, because we're looking at 3 days to go, so tomorrow it should start amping up.
Yep.
If you're in America, it basically ends on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And... yeah, so it's going to do pretty well because you get that last push and then people getting money for Thanksgiving or whatever.
Yeah, and you know what, the last tomorrow they're probably going to push another big attractive add-on and then an all-in tier. And so a lot of those pledges will rise from that too.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I just look at the bulk of miniatures and it just kind of makes me think Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary for that reason. But it's not their first rodeo with this. They've given the first time I feel like they've given a release date that they can actually hit. Like there's a lot of things that make me feel like they've learned lessons from the past, and that's why I'm more likely to keep the pledge.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also like how many times do they have to do things to learn that lesson? Devil May Cry, Horizon Zero Dawn,
and God Tier was good.
But it wasn't God Tier massively delayed as well too.
Not massively.
No. Oh, okay.
A little bit. I think that's a misconception. Is that game was massively delayed? It was only like 2 months late.
Okay.
I don't even feel like it was that long. Like I felt like it came pretty close to.
I didn't pay attention to it because I didn't have any interest in playing God Tier. So
yeah, and let's be honest, 2 months late on a Kickstarter is on time.
And I'm not gonna fault that. I mean, if I'm gonna be hyped for Cyberpunk 2020, I'm gonna be okay with missing 2 months on a board game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have the same reservations about Steamforged that you do, Paul. I think maybe just to a lesser degree, and to a lesser, I don't want it. I'm not gonna say that I don't want anything to do with the company ever again. They got me back into this hobby.
I know.
And God Tier is really good. So
I know it's just I know. Like I said, I know I was being the asshole and. I can accept that, and I mean, I'm glad it did well. I hope it does well. I hope it, I hope it's.
I feel like it's shattered expectations because this game had a really long ramp up, and they did this awesome social media campaign where they did like a basic teaser, and then they created a Facebook group called The Tavern where they started to tell tales, and they encouraged all the people to introduce themselves as sort of a D&D character, and gearing it up toward like a D&D inspired game. And they got like 3,600 people or so into that group by the time the game launched, and then the game got more backers than that. So
I was going to say, I think I've been hearing about this game from a social media standpoint for a long time. Like it's it's been out there.
But again, the last time I looked, it was up over 6,000 backers, which means that they've
6,286.
Well, there you go.
Damn.
So that means they've almost doubled the amount of people that they got interested through the hype into the game. So they've done a phenomenal job with this game. And I think it was much more successful than they even expected it could be. Because, if you looked at God Tier, and if you look at God Tier and Guild Ball, which are their totally unique IPs that were launching without a large dedicated fan base, this game has done exceptionally well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, did a good job.
I mean, I can't fault them for that. I just, I'm going to forever be bitter about the Guild Ball thing.
And I think that's fair. I think it's fair to be bitter, honestly. Maybe not so bitter that you hope they fail, but definitely bitter.
I know. And like I said, I still feel guilty for that. I don't really want to see anybody fail. I don't want to see people lose their jobs and all that stuff. You're just being a curmudgeon. I'm just being a curmudgeon. I didn't really mean it. All right.
And I think that's the extent. There's a lot of news, busy month, lots of hobby progress. So that's going to probably wrap us.
Geez, the dollar amount just went up. Just looked up and it changed.
Yeah, like I said, they're doing. Yeah, we're breaking it after the Kickstarter's over. No, I think they did good. I'm thinking it's going to go north of $1 million by the time the campaign, or it's going to be real close to $1 million.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't. You know what? Here's the other thing that I wonder if it. I wonder if this is also making me not like it, and that I wonder how much of it is that, like, it almost has the same feeling as, like, the King Killer Chronicles, and I don't like that either.
Because it's like the bard, yeah,
like telling the story and stuff like that. So I wonder if I'm predisposed to not like it because I hated that book.
I will say one thing I'm really excited about, possibly with this game, is that Steamforge has also been putting out these Epic Encounters boxes, which are curated, fully miniature supported D&D 5e boxes. So it's basically a box of minis, a booklet of scenarios, and a paper mat to play D&D one-offs.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool.
That come with minis, and the minis are in the same scale and style as Bard Song, which is really Steamforge's style.
It would be very easy for them to be like, here's a downloadable $2 PDF.
I'm sort of thinking that one of the last add-ons is going to be like a bunch of card support for the Epic Encounters.
Could be.
That could be very cool for people that like that. Yeah,
I agree. And think about what that would do for me is that I would instantly be more likely to buy an Epic Encounters box and start painting it early because I would know that I'd be able to use it for Bard Song later.
Right.
And what's the? I think that's the other thing too is that I'm over Kickstarter like pledging and then getting stuff 6 years later.
It's hard. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it's a hard system.
I think Chris over at Slow Death Games and the way Privateer has been doing Neo Mechanica, and even the Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter, like stuff,
and
Riot like those
Quest,
guys are all getting stuff
one.
out so quick. It just kind of makes it like, why tell me about it beforehand?
Yeah, I feel like I just pledged for Riot Quest and they're packing it up now.
Yeah, man, that's
nice.
Neo Mechanica is ready to go, and it's like
in stores now. Like their Wave 1 stuff's hitting shelves.
Yeah, but they
now.
did a Kickstarter for Wave 2, and the Wave 2 pledge manager is about to open, and then they're going to start shipping. I think the first month of the year or whatever. It's fast.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they just did that. That was awesome.
And there's some really cool stuff in there too.
That was an interesting looking faction. Yeah.
I will say Neo Mechanica.
But even the vehicles and stuff like that, making it a little more like Halo feeling, I thought that was pretty cool.
I think eventually we're going to do an episode that's the top games we wish we played, and that's going to be way up on the top of my list.
Neo Mechanica.
Yeah,
they just got more backers. It went up another $100.
Go Bard Song, go!
Now somehow I'm like cheering for it. I don't understand me. I don't know what's going on.
We've come
it's
full
been a rough
circle
month
here.
apparently.
Again, we all want that Guild Ball 2, man.
Oh, man, I know. Oh, it went up again.
Especially after I just found my Union team. Please do it.
I mean, you can still play Guild Ball. I saw there's a couple content creators that are playing, new games, but they're still doing Guild Ball bat reps, which I think is pretty neat.
Yeah. If we have rules, I'll play with you. I got fishermen.
Think about Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl went a decade without GW support, and people were still playing it. So I think Guild Ball can still have a life ahead of it. I certainly did a panic buy and bought a couple full teams at the ends because I know I have locals I can play with. So right. You can still play Guild Ball.
I was going to say, Kevin, when you come down here, we are obligated to play some type of Guild Ball because that brought it all together. Yeah,
I'll have my my farmers and shepherds, and I have every farmer or shepherd model, and I'll have them all painted. So, because I've been working on those sort of in the background, slowly.
Yeah. All right, well, I feel like we've probably started to run this into the ground.
Yep.
I've come around on Bard Song, at least not around on the game, but around on accepting the fact that I don't actually want Steamforged to fail, and I'm just being a little angry and bitter. I'm sorry. That's terrible of me.
Oh, it's like I said, you feel scorned from them.
Yeah, I just loved everything that they were doing with Guild Ball. I loved the game, and I just hate the way it went out.
Yep,
yeah,
I agree with that.
Fair enough. So, all right, call us out here for this episode because we are done. We're super done.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you to all of our patrons. And speaking of that, I don't think I told you guys this, but we did get another patron this week, cool. which is super exciting. So we got another $1 a month patron. So cheers to that. So thank you. So thank you to our patrons if you are interested in helping us out and keeping us doing this, because let me tell you, that was like the thing I needed to hear, was some nice things that patrons said, as well as some other patrons. So if you're interested in supporting us and keeping this going, check out patreon.com/3meninawargame. Thank you to Static is the City for the amazing music as always. It's been 3 years since we've been doing this, guys. So thanks to everybody for following us that long and hanging out, and especially Discord people who are, forever wonderful. So thanks for listening, and all the links to all that stuff will be down in the places. So
Words.
You know where it is. Yeah.
Bye.